Hi, welcome to Musicians Hangout with your host, Crash Fist Fight from Hated Noise and Fatal Butterfly, and Maxine Maxwell from the Maxwells.
Happy Wednesday, everyone. It's so great to be back. And I am in a super secret location. I'm on vacation, and the Wi-Fi appears to be working for me. So yay. I will go over our musician hangout mission statement, and then we'll introduce our guest for tonight. All right, musicians hangout mission statement is to be part of a revolution to create friendships with other artists and build a community network to save music. And that we are doing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining.
Absolutely.
Kendra, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Your band's name is Kendra and the Bunnies.
Yep.
Hey, oh my goodness. All about it. Tell us about yourself and tell us about your band.
Okay, cool. My name is Kendra Mickey from Kendra and the Bunnies Music. I'm also all of the bunnies. But I do have people guest on my albums and sit in during shows and stuff like that. I chose the name Kendra and the Bunnies because I've been called Kendra Bunny for a long time. I'm very influenced by Alice in Wonderland. The White Rabbit, he is so upset about being late, but he's quite on time. The story doesn't even start till he arrives. And then I'm also on the other end of the spectrum, we have the Playboy bunnies, and I happen to be blonde. So maybe I'm just, like a valley girl who just likes to have a good time. I play psychedelic folk rock Americana. I'm very influenced by the 1960s as far as like the culture and the movement and the vibes that were happening between people. 1970s when it comes to music, as well as the 1990s when it comes to angst and aggression. I feel misunderstood, and I love exposing that through my lyrics.
That is so cool. So you write your own music?
Yeah, totally. I play the guitar and sing. I started, I've been singing as a vocalist for years, but then I started writing poetry in my teenage years. And then when I started playing the guitar, the poetry it was so great to put it to music so that it could start like having life to it and stuff like that. So yeah, I write a lot of music. I just finished recording, or I'm like doing the mixing and mastering on my third album right now.
And you're doing that yourself?
Yes.
Awesome.
Wow.
I took some courses on songwriting. I took some courses on songwriting, mixing, mastering, sound engineering, and all that stuff. So I can do that at home, which has been really kind of cheeky as I've had to be stuck in the house for like, you know how it is for the past couple months.
Oh my gosh. When did you go into
All year.
I know, all year, right? March 14th was the official day, Pi Day, that Los Angeles said, the stay-at-home orders. I did get a chance to get out and go to Texas, where I'm from, to play some shows because things were kind of loosened up down there for a little bit. And I just got back from playing those shows. It was really fun.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so envious.
Yeah.
So envious. You actually read some poetry during our Corona concert series.
Yeah.
And it was just absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed that quite a bit. I wanted to tell you that. Like, it stuck with me.
Yeah. It gave us goosebumps. We were like, wow, it was so moving, to be able to connect with people from miles and miles away and to be touched like that is just amazing. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah. When did you start playing guitar?
So my first guitar lesson was at 14 years old. Just dependent on like where I was in my life and the teacher that I had. I ended up just learning a little bit of guitar in those first initial lessons, 14, 15. My older brother also taught me some songs as well, but I just didn't really click with my first teacher. Then I always had the guitar just kind of like in the corner of my room staring at me, just like, when are you gonna play me? And then eventually in college, I studied acting or theater in college, and I had done all my credits that I needed to graduate. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take Guitar 101 as my final credit. And I really clicked with my teacher, and he was like, you got something special here. And it just was like the perfect amount of motivation to keep me playing the guitar. And it's kept me like so sane during certain times. Like just being able to speak through an instrument that's outside of myself, but also feels like an extension of who I am. I feel very, very tied to like my guitars and stuff like that.
That's awesome. What was your first?
Yeah. My first guitar was a black electric Ibanez. And I ended up trading that with a friend for a classical Cordoba guitar.
Really?
Yeah, it's really nice because it's kind of a smaller guitar and it has vinyl strings, so it kind of has like this like violin element to it, or just it just sounds like a little bit more high pitched. It's easy to play. I learned how to play via ear, just like listening on it, because it's a smaller instrument and it just like reverberates with such great sound. Hey.
Awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Ken, for joining us. Hello to everybody joining us
Hi,
tonight.
Joy.
Doing.
So unfortunately, I cannot message back anybody because I am hosting from my handheld device, which is new. That's new from StreamYard, because my computer decided that the camera was not going to work. So thank goodness for Plan B. So, and thank you, StreamYard, for making it, making us able to finally be able to host a show and not just, from a computer. So
yeah, it seems
cool.
Thank you, StreamYard.
So that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't even know you were doing that. That was smart because
I plugged them.
Trouble connecting earlier, and I thought it was my Wi-Fi because I'm out in the mountains, so I was worried that it was me. But seems to be
No, it's me.
Kendra, where are you broadcasting from?
Los Angeles, California.
You're in Cali. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
LA.
I think
yeah.
Second person we've had from California. We had Draco Zombie from on too. So that's awesome.
I'll have to check them out. Yeah, it's pretty fun over here. It's really nice for the music scene. There's all different types of music, from singer-songwriters to rap artists to pop stars. We've got it all here in LA. Even people who are composing music for film.
That's great.
Yeah.
My favorite band, one of my favorite bands, Yacht, is now located in Los Angeles, and they were just nominated for a Grammy last year.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Unfortunately, they did not win.
I think I like Yacht. I think I've heard some of their stuff, but they like alternative, low key, kind of chill, relaxed music. Yeah, I've definitely heard of that.
They are kind of electronica.
Yeah.
And I just, my band Fatal Butterfly, we cover one of their songs, Dystopia. And I got to meet them. And I have a tattoo of Yacht. Oh, it's a triangle, smiley triangle.
Oh yeah.
Backwards land here. Wait, this way. And I got to meet them, and I told them that, we sing a version of their song, and they want to see it. So they are very supportive.
Whoa, that's very cool.
Yeah, you make it heavier.
Yeah, it was
heavier.
Yes, I punk it up more.
Yep. That's your style.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Kendra, what musicians and bands inspire you?
Oh, all sorts of bands. I would say the Grateful Dead has probably the biggest influence on me as far as like the history, the folklore, all their lyrics, the members of the band. I just feel like super connected to the Grateful Dead in general. I also really love their music. Like you put on the song and it's still playing 10 minutes later. Then I'm very influenced by Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, I love Jefferson. Very slick. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right. I love the fact that she like is
amazing.
I love the fact that she's kind of like dark with her lyrics, and yet it's still during the time of like a hippie era. Right. I can definitely resonate with that because I feel like my lyrics are super dark. In fact, it might even be influenced by her in a little bit of that regard. And I love she's just a powerhouse at singing and a powerhouse personality too. I've watched some of her interviews and she's like unapologetic about her personality, and I love that.
Yeah, I love that about her too. I'm like, oh my God, I'm geeking out right now. I'm like, yes,
right.
Love her too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We do a cover of White Rabbit and we make it heavier. And
Yeah.
we also do it acoustically too. So when we do that busking on the street, people forget. They love it.
Right.
Little old guys come dance and sing with me. It's like so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That song speaks to that generation, it's so cool.
So true. Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrote that song coming down from a certain experience, but she put on her vinyl record player, she put on this orchestral song Bolero. And so it's like this, it's written for a French ballet, and it just has that like tiptoe drumming beat. And then that's how she was inspired to write White Rabbit. And of course, it's influenced by Alice in Wonderland.
Super fun drum beat to play is also because I drum and sing, so it's a little challenge to beat and sing along to it. So it was a good one for me to learn too, because I learned Zombie by Cranberries to do vocals with drumming, and then I learned White Rabbit. Yeah, sweet.
Very cool. Do you wear a headset, or do you have like the microphone right above the toms or the snares?
Crash, she also sings drums, and we connected because she told someone in the industry that she wanted to learn how to sing while she was drumming, and they were like, have you met Maxine Maxwell? And she was like, no. And then we connected through a podcast that we were both listening to. We were both in the chat room, and then we connected because of the headset, and we met in person, and from there we blossomed into this beautiful friendship and started this show. But it was the headset that basically brought us together.
I love that. Yeah, right?
Who would have thought?
That's super rad. Yeah. I'm influenced by a little bit of like 90s hip hop too. So I really like A Tribe Called Quest.
Cool.
I love A Tribe Called Quest.
So freaking good. So good. Their lyrics are really great too. And then a band called Soundtribe Sector 9 is one of my favorites to see live. Have y'all heard of them?
I don't think so. Maybe I have.
I've heard the name, but I haven't really checked them out, I don't think.
It's like,
but I'm going to now.
Names of bands, I hear the music, I know I've heard it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, they're super popular in the jam band scene, and they definitely do jam. But what's interesting is they don't have like a singer. It's more like instrumental stuff. So I like to call it like, I don't know, like intergalactic jam band stuff, because there's like some MIDI work, but there's all live real instruments too. It's really spectacular. It's something to look into for sure.
I'll check that out. Sweet.
Yeah.
I love
sure.
Yeah. And then of course I'm influenced by a little bit of Britney Spears. I think I sang that on your show. I think I sang Hit Me Baby One More Time. Well, she was like the most popular pop star when I was growing up. It was like the Spice Girls, and then Britney Spears came out. And I was just like super in love with the way that she did things. I don't know. It's like, because I grew up with her, it's like I'm a Britney generation. Although I could have been a Christina Aguilera generation, but I was on the Britney side.
I got you.
Hey.
Both kind of had their sides. Yeah.
Yeah. They were different too,
I think I would be more of a Britney Spears girl than a Christina Aguilera. I think myself.
They're different. I mean, Christina Aguilera has some of the most wonderful pipes singing voice ever, and she can really like do some great riffs and some good vocal runs. And then Britney Spears is like really, really cutesy, and she's just like a fun personality to get to know. And I like her music. Like I do the cover song Hit Me Baby One More Time, but I play it on the guitar. I've got kind of this like dark or like thoughtful element to it, so it like totally adds a new spin, because I'm like, my loneliness is killing me, and I still believe. It's just, it adds different flavor. And then it's like Hit Me Baby One More Time. It's like, whoa, this is intense. This is like a little bit dark, Britney. It was like it was her first single.
When you listen to those words, it is really dark.
Right? Yeah.
I remember that when I first heard it too, like, whoa. And it was like all cutesy, but I was like, that's got some dark meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can dig that for sure. It's just interesting
to see. It's got a lot of power.
Yeah. And then it kind of like shows like later on how her career would play out in some regards. I mean, her career is still playing out, you know, but just some of the things that she's had to go through.
Well, it sounds like you're influenced by some really empowering women throughout the decades, and I totally
Yeah.
get it. I can cheers to that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Totally. I mean, the Grateful Dead had Donna on stage for quite a bit too. Donna was Keith Godshaw's wife, and he played the keys for them in the late 60s
Wow,
and
you know
70s.
the
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I really know the
Look at
history.
you.
Yeah.
You are like in the history. I love that.
Take it now, Kendra. Teach me.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Cousin?
Well, I mean, I just kind of got embedded in the hippie scene quite a bit, and then that's ended up what we'd be talking about. You know, I lived in Denver, Colorado for 2 years, and we just straight up talk about the Grateful Dead like for hours.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost
Pretty
moved.
cool.
I'm actually originally from Denver, Colorado.
That's right.
Like I was born there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's super cool. It's really, really great. I
Yeah.
mean, love that city so much. I'm back in Los Angeles because it makes more sense for me to be here overall as an artist.
Yeah.
But Denver's got an amazing music scene and amazing venues, amazing people. Just love that town so much.
Love the vibe.
Absolutely.
I do. I really do.
It's a very Boulder is like the most hippie town you will ever
Yes.
see on the planet ever. Like it's hippie.
Yeah.
Hippie.
So
Way more than
hippie.
Seattle. Seattle, unfortunately, has really fallen down the toilet, but Boulder, it will it's like timeless.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
timeless.
And nestled in the mountains too. And it's like, you know, you got to do like a little
I
bit of a
was
drive
just-
to get to Boulder. Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna say, just like this little town nestled in the mountains.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I just played some shows there in February. It seems like decades ago. But I went on a single release like mini tour, and I played in Denver, and then I went and played in this town just north of Boulder. So you like drive through Boulder, and then you go up Boulder Canyon, just all the way to the top of this canyon to this little town called Nederland. And I played at a brewery up there.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh, I
super
used
quaint.
to snowboard in the Netherlands
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Mount Eldora.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh, for
Mount
sure.
Eldora was.
How long
That's
did
where,
this ski
yeah,
there?
no, I know exactly where the. Uh-huh.
Did
What was that?
you like skiing Eldora? What's it like skiing Eldora?
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. It's my favorite mountain.
Oh, that's neat.
By far my favorite. I've been to Vail, Aspen, Breckenridge, all the big ones down there. But Eldora Mountain was always my favorite.
Right on. I like Vail very much so because it's just like a big mountain. There's all different types of skill levels. Because like for a good time period there when I was younger, at least I was skiing black diamonds. I remember our ski instructor took us on a double black diamond, and like we were like 7 years old because I was still skiing. I hadn't switched to snowboarding yet, and like we went off this cliff, and I just remember like going off this cliff on the double black diamond and looking down. And there's just like a pile of kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the instructor's at the top, like, okay, go. Yeah, but you know, when your center of gravity is so low to the ground, we were just like, do, no problem. And then I went snowboarding, like, I think the last time I went boarding was like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. It's a whole different thing when I'm like, you know, it's like, I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my body. And I'm like being risky out here on the slopes. But yeah, I still like to board.
That's awesome. I love that. I've skied. I've never boarded.
Eldora Mountain has up to a triple black diamond, but it has like the best bunny slope ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I've never been downhill skiing. I've been cross country and snowboarding, but downhill skiing just looked gnarly because when you crash, like there's skis and poles and they're just flying everywhere, and it's like, whoa, bro, are you okay? Like that looked gnarly. But you're more in danger in a snowboard because we can have spiral breaks because nothing releases.
Oh, okay.
You're strapped in your board.
Yeah. It's fun. It's totally fun, but I definitely don't go on the black diamonds anymore. Maybe just like greens and then like low key blues.
I'm way too old for that now.
Man, that sounds like so much fun. I only went skiing once with some girlfriends in college and I had a blast. So we had some instruction and then I was out on the slopes right away and it was so fun. But I don't really have anyone to ski with. My husband's knees are all messed up, so he doesn't ski anymore. But we
Mhm.
so we'll snowshoe and sometimes do some cross country skiing. So I guess we do ski, but it's just not, the same.
Yeah. So cross country skiing, you start at the bottom of the mountain and you go up, or you kind of just going across like you're jogging, right? Kind of like the equivalent to skiing if you're jogging, just
Yeah.
enjoying yourself.
Yeah. And we mostly do that on like
Yeah.
trail type stuff in the snow, like really easy peasy stuff. And
Yeah.
then if we're thinking about going mountainous hiking, we'll put on the snowshoes and go up like that.
Oh, that's rad. I have some friends who are like very intense about it. They'll like strap the skis to their backpack or maybe just to their back and then hike up the mountain
And
and
then
then ski down because they want to do like the little like runs that aren't groomed or anything and that haven't been ridden by other people, and like that's all fine and good, but like it's the same thing with surfing. I've only tried surfing once, but by the time I got to the water, I was like, this board's like really heavy, and that was like a long stretch of beach to like carry it. I think I might just like chill on the beach, but no, it's cool. I'm definitely outdoorsy in some different ways. Like I love to go out in nature and just like investigate and like listen to like the birds and the wind and see where different things are and just like, notice stuff and just feel what's around. It's like, yeah, I should do that again soon because it's just like being inside for this long. I feel disconnected from everyone else, but disconnected a little bit from nature. But yeah. I mean, it's okay though because it's like a really good time for self-reflection.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's well put.
Yeah. I've just been thinking like, I've been able to release a lot of stuff that I used to worry about. I mean, it's like because I can be controlling about stuff, and it's like, well, what even if I'm not going to be able to control it? What's the point of like being in this mindset of trying to control stuff anyway?
That's a beautiful way to have an outlet.
Amen, sister. Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
My favorite time of the day is in the morning, and when my coffee is making, and I'm just sitting outside in the morning, because I live in the forest in the beautiful Northwest, and I just listen to the birds, and there's chipmunks and crows, and just all sorts of wildlife just chattering away, and I love nature's music.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody has their part in the symphony.
Oh, yes.
And it's just, it's my favorite thing.
Yeah, the world plays music for us, definitely. Nature writes the music.
It's interesting because like living in the city, like sometimes like when people go to lock their cars and their car horns beep, it just like syncs up with like some of the things I'm thinking or like notes that I'm playing on the guitar, and I'm just like, wow, really is like nature, like exaggerated nature in a certain way that we're all synchronized to a certain extent as well.
The city has its own symphony. Like it really truly has its own symphony.
Yeah.
So like there's a country symphony, a city symphony, and it's beautiful. I love both the city and the country. I'm kind of weird. Like usually people like one or the other.
Yeah.
I'm like the most country city girl ever.
Yeah.
I like both. But yeah, I prefer yours. When quarantine hit and we were about 3 weeks in, we decided to buy backpacks. So we started training. We started, the rucksack training with our backpacks where the trails got shut down after probably 2 weeks after we got our backpack. So we had to pack around our neighborhood to train. So, and now it was just announced in our area. So I live 2 hours west of Seattle and the peninsula, and camping has been closed. And just yesterday it was open immediately for camping.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I got out of town to go on vacation because people are going to flood our area. It's going to be crazy. I'd rather be out of nowhere right now. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, the beaches in LA are going to be closed this weekend for July 4th. It's kind of a huge bummer. I mean, I get it, and yet at the same time, it's like, y'all, it's like an outdoor beach, you know? So, I mean, I don't know, maybe I won't go too far into that topic, but, you know, I wish everyone well, and I got to go to the beach. Like, they loosened up the restrictions for a little bit there, so I was able to go to the beach, like, a month ago, or a month and a half ago or something. Yeah, but I'll be celebrating July 4th by playing some music or something.
Heck yeah.
Doing some face paint.
Are you live stream?
Yeah, so I've got some live streams. I believe I'm doing one on July 5th. It just depends on if I get a confirmation email for it or not. But I have some live streams coming up on maybe next week. I have one coming up on July 6th where I will be live streaming with Indie Star Radio via their Facebook page. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll check it out.
Can you put that up, Maxine, or are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone too, so I don't know how to do that. Can I? Let me try.
We can't message anyone. I'm sorry, folks.
Oh, live comments maybe? Nope, I can't. Oh man, this is weird.
This is weird. This is so weird. Usually we have our fans that ask questions and we talk to them. They talk to you, and we usually put stuff up, but we don't have that power because we're both
on our
streaming from our phones.
Yeah.
Our handheld devices.
Well,
so this is just kind of unknown territory.
Yeah,
do they publish onto Facebook? Let me see.
Yeah,
sometimes. Yeah, they publish on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Sweet, that'd be great if you could, because I can't figure out how
and
to.
On YouTube.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm gonna pop over and see if I can go to Facebook without losing service. I'll come back to studio if I do. Okay.
Sweet.
I was able to.
But,
I'm in. Lost her, but that's okay.
Oh, did you lose me?
Gone into the abyss. We can hear you.
Oh, okay.
It just turned off your camera. That was funny, but we can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go into our Facebook and share my live stream from you.
Cool.
And then I will see if I can comment on it too. You wanted me to put up the Indie Star Radio live stream?
Yes.
I can.
So that's on July 6th. I'm doing it, performing at 7 p.m. Pacific time.
Ooh. We will definitely have to tune in and give that a big, huge like.
Awesome. I'd love for y'all to do that. It was cool. Like, okay, so I had a bunch of shows scheduled in April to go up the coast of San Francisco. You know, I was going to start in LA and then play like a couple right around San Luis Obispo, and then end up in San Fran and play some gigs down there, up there, and then come back down the coast and play some more gigs. But everything was postponed. So then I switched over to live streams, and it's really cool because like I ended up learning like all my songs just like the back of my hand, and like really like amping up my guitar proficiency and stuff like that, and just being able to like communicate with the audience, because when they're right there at the live stream, it's like so much more intense than if you have like an audience member in the crowd, because it's like live feedback and all that. So the live streams have been really, really great, and I'm liking the idea of being able to implement them in the future, even when physical gigs begin once again.
Right. No, our future is definitely with the live streaming, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We could just reach more people. Oh, we might have lost Maxine. Oh, I hear you.
Hey,
Welcome back.
I can't pull up the comment, but I tried to put it in the comments so that people can see it.
Sweet. I can see that it says hi, everyone.
Now we understand the challenges of broadcasting. Oh, sweet.
And you know what?
Were you able to bring that up, Crash? There it is.
Yep.
Yes.
I can touch it and bring it up. I just can't comment on it.
Always learning with this.
Different. What have you guys been working on? Like any new music, or what have you been doing recently with projects?
Oh, go
Ooh,
ahead,
so
Crush.
I
Tell her
just
about
joined
your
a new
band.
band. I just joined a new band called
Uh-oh,
Hated
no
Noise.
sound, girl.
We are oh, no sound. No, can you hear me?
Is it your microphone?
I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear Crash?
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't hear her.
oh. Join back in. Anyway, I'll just go. I just joined a new band, Hated Noise. She can come back in and I can always add her.
I can't hear her at all. You can hear her though, Kendra?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Crash,
Hey,
I
Lee.
can't hear. I'm gonna leave studio and come back so I can hear you. I'll be right
We'll
back.
buzz you in. Okay.
We'll get it. Anyway, so my band Hated Noise again. We're a fast punk rock band.
Mhm.
I just started 5 practices ago, and I'm really excited about that band.
Yeah.
And plus my other band, Fatal Butterfly, we're still chugging
I love that
along, having new
name. I
bands.
love that name.
Fatal
So
Butterfly.
much.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. What's
Hated
the
Noise.
behind Fatal Butterfly, the name of it?
It Fatal, it stands for focus, alternate, or focus, activate that alternate life.
Focus,
So
activate that alternative life.
yes.
Love it.
Hey,
And
I
there's
can't hear
Maxine.
now. I don't know why that was. That was weird. I could hear Kendra and not Crash.
That's where, but welcome back.
Thanks for bringing me back.
Like, it wouldn't be Musicians Hangout without our little technical difficulties.
And I'm impressed. I've actually having a good connection here, so hope it keeps happening.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
other than I guess.
Yeah, I made everybody shut everything down here.
Yeah, our regulars are used to that. They're like, they'll be back.
So when did you guys start the show? It says week 54, so like a year ago, or?
Yeah, we celebrated a full year because we took some holidays off that landed on Wednesday. Like their Christmas was on a Wednesday. I had vacation, she had vacation, so we just here and there took a couple off. But we started on May 15th, Crush?
Yes.
Yeah, so we started May 15th, 2019. And we've grown quite a bit for only being around a year, which is pretty exciting. So we're proud of where
it's awesome.
And the connections that we've made with musicians worldwide. Also got to do the live stream event by our friend Brandon Welch from Bigwood Records got a hold of us and wanted to use our platform to present something like that, and we took it and ran with it, and we got to meet all sorts of really cool people, including yourself. So
yeah,
we had a blast. I mean, having all of our live shows shut down was devastating to all of us, to the whole music industry, and to be able to revive that in any way felt so good.
What do you think about okay, so I like the live stream. We were talking about a little bit how I like the live stream. It's been really cool because it's like helped me learn my songs back and forth. My guitar proficiency is gone up quite a bit. Like I'm really starting to completely understand like the muscle memory type thing where I can just like start a song and really kind of like feel it and have the music come through. What do you guys think about the new drive-in shows? Have you heard about those?
Yeah, and I'd totally do it. I would play them. I would go to one. There's been some in my area, in fact, because we have a drive-in theater for Townsend. So there's been some concerts that have been there and streamed there too. So there'll be like famous artists. Like one I remember off the top of my head was Garth Brooks was featured on the screen, and people would pay to go to his concert and watch the live stream at this drive-in theater.
Okay, that's interesting. That's fun though, because I also listen to the band Fish quite a bit, and I've been to so many live streams.
I love Fish.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm such a Fish fan. I've been to so many live streams where like people like rent out a theater, or like someone who happens to be the sound engineer at a venue will say we're having a Fish live stream night, especially when they're on tour and like during the summer and stuff like that. So that's always really fun. Like I can totally get down with watching a live stream with friends because it's like, it feels like you're at the concert to a certain extent. And then like the driving. What were you saying?
We have that going on here. We have that going on here right now. Some venue owners, friends like Tony Verhey from Tony V's Garage, Luigi's Pizza, they kind of rent their stage and their sound engineer, lighting engineer, and they live stream it on Facebook or wherever they're doing it.
Nice.
So I know we have a lot of that going on too right now, which is different because it's hard to read a room when there's nobody in it.
Yeah.
So that's a little challenging, but it's a great idea. At least, you know, we'd be able to play. And, you know, people set up tip jars, the virtual tip jars and whatnot. So,
yeah, I mean, it's totally like, I mean, where we're at. And I like the idea of drive-in shows, at least for the time being. I've seen some where people are required to stay in their car. I've seen some where you can like get out of your car. So you have like a little spot, you know, some width to expand outside of your car too. That reminds me of like tent camping at festivals, or like car camping at festivals. You like have your car and then some areas next to it. And then I know some of them just have like straight up space in front of the stage too. So it's also like becomes like a socially distanced concert in a bigger outdoor area that's billed under a drive-in version. And you know, if we keep the comfortability up and like, you know, give people their space and stuff, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to be outside at stuff, which was kind of what I was getting at with the LA County beaches. It's like, isn't it outside? And aren't those beaches like giant? But I guess the 4th of July weekend, lots of people.
Many people, you know, like everybody just comes out, you know?
Yeah. Like you said with the camping. So with the camping near your...
And everybody wants to go to the beach.
What?
What was that?
I said everybody wants to go to the beach for 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you think that they're going to do? Are there going to be like implemented rules at the camping site near y'all's house on how many people can show up and stuff?
So I think that they've only allowed like every other campsite to be open, and they'll take certain ones so that it doesn't get overcrowded. I'm not sure what they're doing about the restrooms, because a lot of the campgrounds have one restroom per loop, or two, depending on the size of the campground, main restrooms on either side. You know, if it's a larger one and there's one loop, then they have a bathroom, and then the other loop has a bathroom. So that's where I would worry about the transfers happening the most. So I don't know how they're working that out. Porta potties scattered throughout, so not in the same area.
When I went to Vantage, nobody gave a crap. Every campsite was pretty full.
Yeah.
We had probably 16 people just in our group alone, and we all came from different places. One bathroom, but they kept it really clean.
Good.
So, but yeah, but this was before the whole Friday mandatory mask thing. But yeah, nobody really gave a crap. They were just like, screw it. Like, we're done with the Corona thing.
Right.
This have been definitely, we're just sort of over it. And yeah, we're bouncing back and forth through phases, like phase 2, and then we're back to 1, and then we're 1.5, and then we're down to 3, and then taking back to 2. So it's like, we don't know what phase we're in.
Yeah. I mean, to a certain extent, I think it should be like everyone's own decisions with stuff. I mean, it's a super gray area, but I think that we should start opening stuff back up and like just taking into account the overall time frame that this is taking up, because it was like one thing when it was like 1 month, 2 month, around month 3, I was like, y'all, please open up some restaurants or something. Like, I gotta get out there. This is funny. Before the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like start dating or something. And then this whole thing happens, and I was just like, okay, never mind. Forever alone.
God, no, Kendra, no dating for you right now. Now is not the time.
Maybe I'll get a house cat and just fully embrace being a lone woman.
Oh, the time will be all right. The time will come.
Yeah, right.
That's
your man will come.
Yeah. One day my prince will come. On the other hand, it's like when I get too comfortable with someone, I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you like trying to like lock me down? And they're like, that's the whole point of a relationship. We're supposed to be committed to each other. I'm like, whoa. I guess I'm scared of commitment. I will see you later. I was accounting to a friend yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah, I've been in some long relationships. And it was like, well, they've all just been about a year. So I guess I have a pattern at about a year.
You're just like, okay, dude. Like,
you haven't found the right one yet. You know, I've been with the same guy for, is it 20 years?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And married for 16 this month. So we celebrate our anniversary in like 3 weeks. So
that's so sweet.
But yeah, if I didn't find him, I'd be, God, so many people out there suck. No offense, people. But
I've been with my wonderful boyfriend for almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely adore him.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Well, you never know how to find your soul, Henry.
Yeah, and maybe I already know them too. I mean, I've got someone in my mind's eye, I guess I could say. I'm just thinking about, he probably saw this.
Yeah, they're your friend, and then all of a sudden, what? This is just right.
Right?
You know?
Well, that's so cool. Yeah.
At least you know that they're your friend first.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Well, we got to be around people that have our best interest in mind, you know, especially as like musicians and creative types. Like, so much I'm in my emotions, and so I'll bounce my ideas off of friends, family, someone I'm seeing, and I just like need someone there who is you know, down to see me grow and become the person that I am meant to be and develop and stuff like that, instead of chastising or even positive things too, but you know, looking for someone who just is like, yes, you become you and bloom into the best you that has ever been. You know, as I'm saying, like, oh, I just feel so insecure about blah, 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 blah. You know, because like being a performer, I mean, I'm on the stage showing myself to people all the time. This is who I am. And then I'll be like, was that good? Was that cool enough? Do you think people like me? Do you think people think I'm intelligent? And it's like, doesn't matter, because you are. And then you can just be that.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, I myself too. Like, I hear you out. We are very vulnerable out there when we put ourselves out there in our songs, because there is so much of us in them that we want people to be touched by that. And we want people to feel it. And we want our significant, our partners to feel that too. Push it away. You know, like that would be hard in a relationship. At least I'm married to a musician, so he gets that.
Nice.
That if I was with somebody who didn't understand that, I think it would be challenging.
Yeah, and I go through like, not necessarily like mood swings or whatever, but I go through different phases of like my artistic development, like with different, like, you know, I feel like I go through things so I can write a song about it or write a poem about it or something, do something with that experience. And so like all of those times that were, you know, potentially dark or I felt misunderstood, they all make sense because I write a song about it or a poem, and I'm like, oh wow, this is so wonderful. I'm so glad that I went through that, because then I wrote this poem about it. But to be able to be, even with like good friends and family members and stuff like that, to be like, this is just a part of the creative process sometimes too.
Yeah, you get to process
sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, the things, the relationships that we go through are lessons. and they are meant to be wrote about, and you know, because it
It's all part of
changes
the
us as people.
Yeah.
It
So
becomes
I'm losing you guys. It might be my Wi-Fi. I might have to pop out and pop in again. I'll let you know.
okay.
okay. Oh yeah, she stopped.
She's frozen in time.
Yeah,
Hello?
but no, there's more serious look there. Mm.
Did I disappear there?
You froze for
She
a
did.
second.
You did.
Very
You
statuesque.
froze, but yes.
Oh gosh.
And then you came back with a. So Allison says that disclosing your most personal and vulnerable self is majorly why people are so attracted to and admire performing artists. And you know what? She is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Right up. Yeah. Dead on. Dead on.
It's so true, because sometimes I'll have a performance and I'm like, wow, during that song, I felt like I really, was exposing whatever emotion was going on or exposing what was going through my mind. I hope people liked it. I do this whole thing all the time where I'm like, I hope people liked it. I hope people like me. I hope they'll call me back, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, oh my gosh, self-confidence. But it also translates really well. So like sometimes during performances, I'll let that version of myself show. And then people come up and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I love that part during your song Timely Vision where you would just like, were so raw and uncut and there. And I was like, whoa, that would be like the one segment that I was hoping to pull out of it, if I could go back and edit. But you're saying that's the part that connected with you the most. That's amazing.
Yeah, that human element. That's what they like.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about the shows that you performed in Texas. Tell us a little bit. That sounds fun.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's see. My family's from Texas. I grew up in Houston, Texas. So I had on the books these shows in June because it's a great excuse for me to go see family. I'll fly into Houston. Then I asked my mom, I was like, will you come road trip with me for some shows? And she was like, yes, I will be your tour bus buddy. So me and her got to bond a lot over that too. So I flew into Houston. I had a show in Houston at this place called Rehab Bar on the Bayou. It was really fun. It's an outdoor, has an outdoor element that's right by the Bayou of Houston. The Bayou, if you don't know, I'm gonna tell you, it is pretty much a stagnant form of water in like the shape of a moat that like goes throughout Houston and around different cities in Texas. Basically, it's created for a way for rainwater to collect so the city doesn't flood. So it's kind of like stagnant water. It's definitely like kind of murky and stuff like that. But it's also like beautiful. I also like love the Bayou. So this place is Rehab Bar on the Bayou in Northwest Houston. I opened for a group called Wild Rabbit Salad. So I thought it was kind of interesting because it was like Kendra and the Bunnies and then Wild Rabbit Salad.
The theme.
I know the theme of the night was bunnies. So I did Americana. They do Americana music. So I pulled out some of my catalog and decided to do like more of a Americana flair to it. It went really great, and my mom and dad were able to be there, and some of my friends from Houston as well. And it was my debut in my hometown, and it went really well. And then also, it was cute. The bar had like a group of field kittens and like field cats that live outside there. So like there's like a few, as I was performing, there's just like kittens playing in front of the stage, just like chasing each other and playing with each other in front of the stage. So I was like, okay, you guys, I might be Kendra and the Bunnies, but tonight I'm Kendra and the Kittens. And they were like stealing the show. I was in the middle of like a solo and the cats were like, meow, 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 meow. It was super fun.
That's adorable.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
I'd want to.
I know. And I was like, I want one of these kitties so much, especially like seeing them dance around to the music and whatnot. So Houston was good. Then we headed up to Austin, Texas. Austin is about 2.5 hours north of Houston. It's a great drive. We've been doing that drive for years because I used to go to summer camp in Austin too. Headed up there. I have to say we stayed in downtown Austin near 6th Street. 6th Street is like where all the music is. Austin's considered the music capital of the world. At least that's the motto. So 6th Street is normally.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, 6th Street is normally booming.
I was going to say
people.
they shut down streets and they just,
Yep.
yeah, and they just bounce from bar to bar to bar
Yeah.
and just have, it's just like a big music fest. I
And
want to do this Austin, Texas music thing so badly.
it's so fun, and there's live music being played in all the bars, and it's mostly like live music with like real instruments and stuff like that. And then there's a few bars that'll have like DJs and stuff, but it's mostly just like hunkered down in a lot of that twangy country Texan music, and it's really fun. And everyone's out there. They'll close down 6th Street on Saturday, I guess Fridays and Saturday nights, like just straight up close it down. There's people everywhere, people absolutely everywhere. And music everywhere. But the thing is with everything going on, 6th Street was like a ghost town. It was really weird to see just like, places boarded up. So I had a gig that was supposed to happen right there. I know, right? Had a gig that was supposed to happen there near the Capitol, but at the Townsend in Austin, but it looked like they might not reopen. Just because I know, right? So we stayed in Austin anyway, but then I played this 3-hour gig in Georgetown that is about 30 minutes north of Austin. So we went a little bit more north. This was at this place called the Roots Bistro, and it was really pretty. They had like an all wooden inside architecture. First floor has a wooden stage on it, big vast area, and then they had a second floor too. So I was like, this is like a beautiful venue to perform music at. I talk about that muscle memory. It was so great to be able to pretty much sail all the way through my 3-hour gig and just take one or two short set breaks and just like, my friend Babylon, who is a musician in New York City, she told me, yeah, you always got to have like an extra 1/4-inch cable, some extra batteries, and you always want to have super glue in your gig bag. And I said, super glue? Why do you want super glue? Like in case a string pops or something? Like, I don't know. And then she's like, no, for your fingertips. I was like, whoa.
Makes sense.
Oh my gosh. So I put super glue on my fingertips, and I swear to you, it is like amazing because it's like the tension or like the extra pressure that's on your fingertips gets offset by the super glue. So I just like the muscle memory, all the stamina I'd built up, plus the frickin' super glue on my fingertips was like excellent, quite excellent. And it was cool because it was this small town near Southwestern University. And it was chill because it was like already a small town. Everyone knew each other. So they'd kind of loosen the restrictions of people being able to go out. I mean, it's a small town. They all know each other. So no problems there. Third destination was to Fort Worth. Fort Worth is like 2.5 hours this way. Okay, yeah. So on the screen, so this way. Oh, right. Love it, Allison. So we went to Fort Worth. I played at the Ridgelea Lounge at the Ridgelea Theater with another blues band. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I've been there.
Oh, sweet. It was pretty cool. It was storming pretty bad that night, which happens in Texas sometimes, but it didn't really affect the turnout at all. This gal's band called the Kim Donette, her name is Kim Donette. Kim Donette band opened, and they do blues heavy stuff. So I decided to pick a blues heavy set,
I like that.
And belt out those tunes. And we had a great time. My mom drove me, and it was cute because she started doing a little bit of the momager thing. Like it was so wonderful to see her emotionally invested in my stuff. She's like, okay, perfect. I love what you're doing, but I want to hear another Stevie Nicks song. Or I think you should do your hair like this. I like when you do this style, which means that she is like, I like what you're doing. And now she wants to be, help orchestrate some of it. So it was super fun.
That is awesome.
She wants to be part of what you're doing. That is super sweet.
It's like the biggest compliment ever.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, when mom's down, it's definitely cool. Like my mom is totally supportive of my band and has funded music videos for us and always the first to buy like our first like line of merchandise of whatever. And yeah, she totally supports musicians. Hangout, like she's my cheerleader, and it feels good to have that support from mom. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're fun.
I don't even think my mom knows if I play music or not, honestly. I don't.
Yeah,
she does.
from.
But my dad would have been really proud of me
Mhm.
if he was here with us today. He would have been super proud because he was a drummer.
Oh,
So,
He knows, girl. He
so
from his heavenly
I
place.
know, and I know he's proud, and
Oh yeah.
he
Oh yeah.
would support musicians hangout because, well, we're doing what we love to do, and that's supporting music and musicians everywhere.
Yeah, and
mhm.
he has blessed us with, his presence in some way. So yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's with us. Totally.
Did you grow up listening to him play
Skull.
the drums?
I did.
Awesome.
I did. But I didn't start out playing drums. I didn't start playing drums until about 10 years ago. I started playing bass, though,
Mm-hmm.
and other stringed instruments like violin and viola. And I was in the Denver Junior Symphony.
Oh.
And, I've had some cool experiences through my life. Don't get me wrong, but it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't until I started playing the drums that I really got in touch with my raw self.
Mm-hmm.
And lately I've been really letting it shine, and it's just been really freeing. It's been a freeing experience. Just
That's
letting
cool.
like my rawest
Yes.
emotions shine through on what I'm doing on my drums. I love it. It's the most amazing feeling ever.
Well, you sound great. You sound like you have a lot of passion behind it when you play with that, and I love that.
I would I could say the same thing about you ladies
Ah,
too.
I'm just so excited about your new project.
Oh, I love it
Yeah.
so much. I
Yeah.
can't even explain how much I love being in Hated Noise. And just, it's not something I've ever done before.
Yeah.
So it's definitely harder than what I'm really used to. But at the same time, it's making me a better drummer.
Yeah, you were
And
definitely.
I get in touch with some,
Yeah.
yeah, now it hits a raw nerve inside me, and it just opens up like a whole new level.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just excited. I'm excited to like finally be able to play a show and actually, be exhausted by the end of it,
Yeah. Yeah. You said
emotionally
it
and
was
physically.
sped. Well, how did you phrase it? Fast punk music.
It, it's fast punk music.
Nice. Nice.
Like boom tap, boom
What's
tap, boom tap, boom tap, boom tap, boom tap. And it's really fast, but I love it. I love, it's punk rock. So our lyrics are going to be
mm-hmm.
a little angry, a little
Mm-hmm.
political,
Yeah.
Yes.
a little this and a little that, a little humor. So, I mean, we have a song called I've Got the Gout too. Nothing special about you. So,
Yeah, it's punk rock.
so I'm excited about it.
I'm excited too. I love the sound. I dig it. I'm so excited that you took on that project. I'm excited to hear you guys live when we can be live together, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, forever. We sometimes do shows together. Crap.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been hard. We haven't seen each other in person since the 3rd of January. So it's been a long time. We did
Yeah.
a New Year's show.
Too long.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Too long, too long.
Where do you guys like to play in Washington?
Let's see. We like to play. The Maxwells, my band. We've played different places in Olympia, Seattle, and Tacoma, and also Arlington and Everett, and
Mhm.
some Pacific Northwest. And I love playing Tacoma. I played a lot of venues there. O'Malley's Pub, The Valley, Plaid Pig when they were. Are they still around? Crash? Do you know? Are they back? Because they're the
I'm not exactly sure. 56th Street Pub. That's a
street
fun venue.
that is super fun. I played club. We both played Club Sir in Seattle, and then
Mhm.
Columbia City Theater, and we've
I
played
love that.
the Funhouse Al Corazon was my first gig in the city because I'm originally from North Dakota and I moved out here years ago and thought, you know, it would be really cool to be in the underground scene in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But I was so engrossed in, like, I did social work. My husband was getting his master's in psychology, and we just didn't have the time to invest into music. And then when we got the time, we decided we were going to hang it up and leave it. But then a fan reached out to us who was 45 minutes away from us on the peninsula in a place called Joyce. And he found us through Reverb Nation, and he loved us, and he wanted to take us to Seattle to play with his band. And from there, it was history. So we started playing around the city. I got connected with more people in the scene. And then eventually, like I said, I met Crash, and Crash has been in the scene for years. So I'll go ahead and let her talk about places she likes to play.
Oh my gosh, that's a lovely story.
Oh my gosh, there's Luigi's Pizza. There's a big story behind that. Louis Garzala, he is a bass player for the band Antihero, who is local here in the Pacific Northwest. He owned it, and it's one of the biggest, most beautiful stages and lighting. And his sound guy, Chris, he is amazing also. It's a hard venue to get into because there are so many people that want to play there, but it's definitely one of my favorites. Another one is Tony V's Garage in Everett, and that's owned by Tony Vierge, who is in a punk band, a punk tribute band called Beef Bologna. So might want to check you guys out. The Anchor.
Oh, the Anchor. The Mirkwood.
Yeah, the Anchor. The Mirkwood. The Mirkwood is an all ages place, and they serve a lot of vegan food, so I love that.
Yeah.
And there's so many different venues around here that I love to play, and I would be very upset if they don't open back up.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned
COVID
and Tony V's. I actually was both venues, so I was getting to play Tony V's and Luigi's for festivals, and they were cut. So I'm hoping that someday I get to play those venues because they do have really nice stages, and they are some of the best venues to play in our area. So
right. Well, maybe it's just postponed, and then you can contact them again because I mean, if you're already booked there, you're already booked there.
Perhaps, we were booked through the local spot. So Aaron Torres, he's a booking agent that has a company that does festivals. So I'm sure he'll keep us on his roster. So,
yeah.
Really cool dude. I was gonna earlier when we were talking about the drive-in theater aspect of live music. I was going to mention that some of our friends have started streaming from music studios even. So if they can't find like a stage to play live, they'll stream from a music studio, which is pretty cool for the studio because it keeps them going, and it advertises both their business and the bands. So it's a sound at a studio is going to sound so win-win.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool idea. I was on a podcast today called Live and Amplified, and he was talking about how part of what he does as well is go and record a video and audio element of people doing a live session in the studio. And then you brought it up again. So I went ahead and wrote it down because I was thinking, hear that twice in a day, that means something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I do know some people who have studios here in LA and stuff like that. So it'd be cool to reach out and just like see how we can collaborate. It's cool because like we're all like figuring out new ways to collaborate and stuff like that. I love getting to know people in the music scene, and it's just like I've been to some events and it's just like kind of surreal, just like realizing, oh my gosh, I'm living the life I've always dreamt about, where I'm like making connections with people and like networking and like, oh, you need to meet my buddy over at blah 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 blah, and I'm like, whoa, really? And then I just like look in the mirror and I'm like, it's like happening. This is like what you've always wanted to do, is like live in LA, be in the entertainment industry, be a mover and shaker of it all. And it's just like psychedelic to be like living the life I've always wanted while also experiencing it too.
That's
To be existential about it.
Yeah, that's super inspirational. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
That's beautiful. And
Maxine and I have that realization all the time.
yeah,
we really do. And it's like, oh my gosh, like things are really starting to happen, and like band stuff is starting to happen. The podcast thing is happening, and like it just started out as like a little thing, and now it's like something that we just absolutely love doing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Crash, what brought you to drumming from bass? What was like the moment that you were like, I'm going to start drumming?
So I've always wanted to be a drummer. I just never really had the confidence for it. And one of the bands I was managing, Under the Red Door, my friend Chris Black, he just handed me his sticks and he was like, "Okay, get behind the drum kit. I'm going to show you a drum beat." And I picked it up really quick, and then I just wanted to know more and more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And it just got to be to the point where the drum teachers I had weren't advanced enough to show me new stuff. So I had to just branch out and learn stuff on my own.
That's cool. Did you kind of like come up with stuff because you were approaching it from someone who's already a musician? So you're like, oh, this fill sounds cool, even though it might not be a traditional one. Do you find that you had like some more unique perspective because you know music inside and out already?
Yes, and being a bass player, I have the natural rhythm of stuff. It was with drum, it's not just counting, but it's a lot of feel. You feel where you need to do stuff. Like by the time you feel the need to do a fill, like that time has already passed. Like you got to be really on it, and it's taught me a lot of stuff. So you have to just anticipate stuff. It's a lot of math too.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to put a fill in, you have to take out so many beats to fill in that time frame. If you're going to add beats to it, because you still have to come back in on one.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of math.
What about singing on top of drumming? What was that whole element to add that in? Because when I started singing on top of guitar, well, it just kind of felt natural because I had been playing guitar for a while and I'd been singing for a while, but it still was a little bit of a learning curve.
I hear you.
Yeah. What's it like to learn how to sing over drumming?
I remember it being...
For me, I have to rely on muscle memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For drumming, that way I can just mentally focus on the vocals. What about you, Maxine?
That's sort of how it felt for me too. Like I've been doing it for so many years now that it's like second nature. But I remember when I first started, I was either, like you said, Kendra, drumming or singing. So I've sang since I was a kid. I was lucky enough to grow up in an area that was pretty remote in North Dakota. We were able to take choir and band throughout school. So I started singing at 5 in choir until I was 18. And then I did some choir in college too. And then I started playing drums when I was 10. So I was about a 5th grader. But I didn't combine those worlds until I was probably in my 20s. So maybe 10 years ago, I started drumming and singing. And I remember having to really think about it at first. And now, like I said, second nature, I don't really have to think about it. It just comes. And I find that when I record, because we have a home studio and we do our recording too.
Nice.
And we have to do different parts. So I'll do my drum tracks first and then vocals will be later. I almost have to sing it in my head to know like where my my cadence is. Like I'll get lost if I'm not singing it in my head. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, it does make sense. I'm thinking about it on like a different level of like what's the like voice in my head. or like the different things I think about? Are they just like passing thoughts that I give like a voice to? I've been having this thing where when I'm falling asleep, about to go into like the sleep state, there'll be like voices that come by and I'm like, well, some of them are like really kind of like, and I'm like, geez, Louise. So some of them are kind of annoying. But it's just like, are these like thoughts, or some of them are like sound snippets from like, I'll hear them in people's voices of like stuff I've heard them say before, almost like I remember those memories and I'm like experiencing those memories. So I was thinking like, I don't know. It made me think of that, the way you're saying that you sing it to yourself. You like have to sing it in your head while also doing it. It's interesting. Like,
I think it's the way that our brains process things.
Well,
totally.
Vocal tracks, I have to tap on my thighs. So if someone was video recording me doing the vocals, I'm just slightly tapping on my thighs, what I would be doing on the drums, so I can feel like I'm drumming and singing. Because it's just so ingrained in me from all of the concerts I've done before recording the album, and all of the practice hours put in just doing that singing drumming, songs that I wrote 10 years ago, songs that I'm writing now too, but like especially the ones I wrote a decade ago are like so fluent in that way. I had to learn how to sing and drum by singing to songs I already knew how to drum. So it was before I learned how to write. I wasn't writing any originals. I was just playing covers. And then probably a couple years into that, I started, writing music, because I wrote poetry in high school. But some of my poems from high school have become songs.
Yes.
I just have books full of different writings, and sometimes I'll hear a beat, or he'll come up with a riff, because my husband's the guitar player, and he'll putting a riff together, and I'll go, oh, I have something that goes with that, and I'll go through my book and find it, and we'll just write a song from that.
So you're Maxine Maxwell? That's your last name too?
It's my rock star.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say, y'all are the Maxwells. That's so funny. You were like, let's get married. This would be a perfect band name.
Yeah, it is. It's easy to remember. But yeah, our last name is Maxwell. We go by stage names Max and Maxine. Max and Maxine Maxwell.
That's so cute.
I love it.
I was going to ask you too, have you ever thought about putting your poetry together in like a book or something like that?
I have. I also, like, I'm an artist. I teach art. So that's my other world, is I am an educator, and I am an artist. So I've thought about, putting together a whole book with poems and illustrations too. So
yes,
late,
That's very, very cool. I've
Beautiful.
self-published 2 books before.
Really? Oh my God. That's cool.
Here, I happen to have them right behind me. What a ham. I'm such a ham. But I wanted to show you, so maybe it inspires you to put it together. But I did this. This is from like years of like my high school poetry, all of that stuff. And then I formatted them together in a way that made sense. And then added like original photography too.
Wow.
And then just self-published it online,
What
That's awesome.
Who did you use for that online?
I used Completely Novel. I just got an email from them yesterday that they're transitioning into closing because they started their self-publishing place like 10 or 15 years ago. So the technology has amped up so much since then. And they were like, we are not going to restructure our website, but they're transitioning us to this place that's going to host my books now called Ingram Spark. So I'm assuming, since Completely Novel, who I've loved, it was like, just loved working with them. They helped me create the cover. They helped me with so many questions. I could email them for customer service. They are recommending Ingram Spark. So there's so many different avenues you can use. There's even one that's straight up through Amazon Books. And yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for telling me that, because it's been on the back of my mind. It gets pushed back with everything else that I'm doing. So to have something like that. Thanks for sharing that. Gosh.
Yes, I'd love to see it.
I love this show because we get to learn so many really cool things from other artists,
Absolutely.
Hacks and stuff into the world of art and music. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. Crash, do you write lyrics too?
I have written lyrics for one song, and oddly enough, the name of the song is called Crash, and it is about anxiety
Mm-hmm.
and how anxiety makes you feel. So, because we all have had some anxiety in our life, and we all know what it feels like when we're about to have like an anxiety attack. And so that's what the song Crash is about.
Really cool.
And I am working on another one called Clover. It's a love song. It's more of a 50s kind of bubblegum kind of feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still working on that. That one it's going to be like my greatest accomplishment ever because it has been the hardest song for me to write lyrics to because nothing is good enough. Nothing is good enough for the story I have in my head.
Yeah.
So and that's been frustrating because I'm not
Yeah.
really a lyricist, but I want to be, but I'm just not that good at it. But so
Yeah.
I do admire people who I listen to music and the way that their lyrics run
Mm-hmm.
and it just always I like how they always tell a complete story without having to use like complete sentences, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. That does make sense. And I like the way that like some lyrics like go on and it'll just be like this and then the full thought is like the next one and it just is like or they'll like break over to the next verse or the next stand measure. And I love that. I do have to say the name Clover for a love song is like I love that so much.
Uh,
That's great.
the whole idea is like the 16-year-old boy, in the 50s where everything is all innocent and everything, and they're going for malted milkshakes and, you know,
Right.
parking is like just making out at the lookout or whatever. But he's in love with this girl. It's his first love. And he just loves her so much. She's just as sweet as Clover. That's the whole
Oh.
idea behind it. But coming up with the lyrics have been frustrating and very trying.
Yeah.
But one day it will be my greatest
Mm-hmm.
accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
That I can
But
see
the
it.
music's already written.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Yeah. And I've even thought about hiring somebody for lyrics, but it seems nobody can quite capture what is in my head, the story that is in my head. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that.
I can see you writing those lyrics, just like meditate and then just
Yes.
knock them out.
I think
Well, and
that, yeah,
the right time will happen too. I think one day it's just going to come to you too. That's what happens for me when I'm writing. It just comes, and I sometimes have to keep a scratch piece of paper or a notebook or
Mm-hmm.
something at my bedside because I'll get an idea in my mind when I'm almost falling asleep or I'll wake up from a dream and have an idea. So I just jot down a quick note. I've even used my notes on my smartphone. If I don't have paper near me, I just go into
Mm-hmm.
the section, write down what I thought of or lyrics that came into my head, and I use it that way too.
I do
Yeah.
that. I also use that.
Nice. Yeah.
I think that, yeah, but I like the meditating and I need to record musicians playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have the music.
So I can just looping it over and over and over so I can
Mm-hmm.
make sure that my story fits in the time frame that I wrote it in. If that makes well, of course you know.
Do you have any artists that you listen to from the 50s?
Not particular. I like a lot of them.
Uh-huh.
It's just it's just a difficult song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's almost like the more simple the concept, like the more simple the beat,
Mm-hmm.
it's harder for me. Like we have this song Misery, and for some reason, like it's the most simple song, but like I guess I it's so different than what we do. Maybe that's it. That it's
Uh-huh.
more challenging. It's a lot easier now. I mean, we've played it for years, but like when we were first coming up with that concept, it was so beyond what we normally did that that's what brought in, you know, some of the challenges with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Clover. It's a very simple song. It's way
Mm-hmm.
more simpler than Crash.
Yeah.
By far. By
Yeah.
far. I came up with the lyrics to Crash in like 10 minutes.
I
Mhm.
love
Just sat down,
it's a good song.
wrote it down. And here's the thing, I was under a time crunch though. And
Mm-hmm.
I think I work best when I'm under a time crunch because
Yeah.
like,
You need-
hey, we're coming up for band practice. Hope you have the lyrics for Crash written. And I was like,
oh, I better do that like right
I
now.
should probably do that. And so like I wrote the chorus down and I was like, hey, that was easy. But the pattern for the verse was so different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the words just came out flying. And then somebody asked me, well, what's the cadence for the verses? And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
However you feel like singing it
Mm-hmm.
is awesome.
Oh,
I didn't have a melody set in my head to go with the rest of this. So
Uh-huh.
it just became a speaking kind of thing.
yeah, it's you speak and then the chorus is saying, right? It's speaking throughout
Yeah.
the verses. Yeah. Yep.
What's the
I know
song
Yeah.
about?
And it turned out really well.
yeah, it did.
It worked out really well.
What's the song
Oh,
about?
and Allison, it's about anxiety.
Right. You mentioned that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Allison says that she's the same way about working under pressure. It's so crazy. It is so crazy. Like I just work better if I'm under pressure. Like if I know I have time, I will just put it off, put it off, put
Mm-hmm.
it off,
Mm-hmm.
put it off. And then it's like, oh crap, they're on their way. I should probably get this done.
So you said the song in the verses, it's spoken word and then the choruses are sung?
Yes.
That's cool.
It is cool. It's a cool song.
Is that like a punk style a little bit?
That one
Spoken word?
is actually more metal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's for my I wrote it with my band Fatal Butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're more
Sing it, right?
heavier metal rock.
The singer sings it and you just drum it, right?
Yeah, because it's
Yep.
way complicated to drum and sing it. It really is.
I get that. That's why I simplify my beats.
Although,
Yeah, I get it. It's hard to be moving every
yeah, I was in a weird like I'm gonna take over the world kind of thing. Now I like the simpler beats.
Yeah.
Probably because I play punk rock now, so the simpler the better because it's exhausting.
I was actually thinking recently, I kind of touched on like my controlling nature. I don't think I'm controlling towards other people, although you'd have to ask my friends' family and boyfriends. But I get kind of like about with everything that's going on in the world, I just want to know what's going to happen. And I just like, will call like my parents or I'll call the person I'm seeing and I'm just like, this is what I know and this is how I feel and why isn't it working out like this? And I'm just like super upset. Well, I realized today it's like, well, what am I going to do about it? I might as well just at least accept where I am today. I can still stay up in research and I can still like have my own opinions and write about it. But instead of being emotionally attached to the outcome of whatever's going to happen today in the world or emotionally influenced by it, I've decided that I'm just going to like start anew and just, especially since we're going through like another whole thing, I was like, I just, seeing like the beaches are closed. It's like, you know what? Cool. Great decision. Wonderful. That Super duper.
I saw the perfect meme today.
What?
I saw the perfect meme today, and it was, Gizmo, the gremlin.
Yes.
And you know how you're not supposed to get gremlins wet or you're not supposed to get them wet or they're just going to multiply.
Yes.
It was
Oh.
a sink running and Fizzgig, or not Fizzgig, Gizmo. And they're like, might as well get July started.
Yeah, here comes July.
Because they were going to put him in the water and just make a whole bunch more and probably feed him after midnight and let him get all monstrous. Like, can't wait for August.
Oh, God, I love those movies. Gremlins. Oh,
So
yes. But yeah, what's July got for us?
I just thought it was funny. I was like, that is, we thought 2020 was just going to be awesome, but the 1920s weren't that awesome.
God, like we opened up our year.
2020s aren't that awesome
Like
either.
2020, we were Flapper Girls at our New Year's event and stuff, and then like everything was going along pretty good. We were writing our album. We were going to release it. We're still, but we're going to hopefully release it in person. But we've been tense about doing it virtually too. We have a music video tentatively scheduled for August. Like we've had so many things, like, and for Musicians Hangout, we were going to do an in-person anniversary show at a live event, and happened. We did a live stream event instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Stupid 2020.
It is kind of weird to have everything up in arms, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, what can I do about it besides, I guess, relish in the relax and the rest and relaxation and getting to connect with people in this way. Like maybe we wouldn't have necessarily met, or maybe we would have met, but like in a year from now or 6 months from now and stuff. So we're getting to experience like all these different alternative ways of getting to know each other and communicating and being associated with each other in day-to-day life.
Definitely pushed us in a different direction. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's as sad as it is to not play live. I really do love this opportunity to meet way more musicians and, meet a bunch of new people worldwide during this pandemic or whatever.
We're also established as an online entity. We were already something that we could continue on in this new phase of our history. And I think it was your booking agent found us because they Googled online events and we were the first to pop up. So
really?
Yes. And we were like, really? Because we were pretty excited about that because we launched right after we went into quarantine. We launched in like 2 weeks. So we're all quarantined and then we went right into our shows. So
our Corona concert series.
Yeah,
it was super
so
fun.
Allison says that she wakes up every day in 2020 feeling like Captain Picard asking for what's the damage report, right? Murder hornets. We got the Corona. Yeah, like looters and protesters and.
Yeah, we've got that sectioned off area in Seattle. That's what is it called again? Oh God, I'm so bad.
Chop. It changes all the time. First it was like Chaz, and then it was Chap, and it was Chop.
Now it's Chop.
And like it was like a bunch of protesters that had taken over Capitol Hill.
Yeah, so it was
and like a neighborhood, and they just destroyed it. There were 24 overdoses because somebody got a hold of fentanyl and they decided to. So there's that, and it was just. And as Allison says, that they have been officially shut down as of this morning.
Oh my God!
They came in.
You have the update.
They came in with bulldozers and they took everything out: barricades, easy ups, tents. It's been crazy. But you know what? Like I said the other day, I'm surprised it's lasted this long. Honestly.
Oh,
big time.
Like a week tops. And it's been how long has it been? A month?
At least.
Yeah, things had Had to change. Come
I
on.
don't know.
Like
Time goes by so weirdly now that we're in quarantine. Like,
4 years, but then again, I'm like, oh God, it's already July 1st.
Yeah, right. It was like it's like goes by super slow, and then it's like boom, it's July.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
The best
Yeah.
memes. Can we just celebrate June 30th like it's the new year and start over?
Yeah, right.
please.
Jeez.
I know. Normally, I look forward to July 4th every
Oh,
freaking year, and I'm like gonna put on my red, white, and blue and like stand on my balcony. I don't know. I've become good friends with my neighbors, and then a cool girl just moved in downstairs, so maybe we'll all get together at least in the building. It's funny, like me and my neighbor have this balcony that like kind of connects. So when this first started, when everyone was like unsure, like should we get close to each other? Should we not get close to each other? I'd like stand halfway out on my balcony, and he'd stand on his balcony, and we just like talk for hours and like play music. I played him like a couple new ones of my songs, and he gave me some pointers. I like when you go into the full strumming versus just the finger picking here. And I was like, you know, this is kind of fun, like getting to know my community. And then there's other apartment complexes across the way, and they'd come out on their balcony too, and we'd all just kind of, you know, do an outdoor balcony party together. So there's a silver lining, but I have also strong opinions about some other stuff too.
for every apartment complex, would you just strum away for people?
Yeah, I mean, it would be super fun to do like a full out show down front and from the lobby. But no, I'm just talking about me and my neighbor hanging out on the balcony.
Oh, I see. Got you.
Yeah, yeah.
Our friends in Black Shepherd, they go out in their front yard and play to their whole entire neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like
And
a
it's
drive.
pretty cool.
Yes. Oh, this is a perfect segue for me to tell you about this cool group that I'm a part of now. That they're nationwide, so you guys might want to look into it too. It's called Curbside Concerts. So the idea is like you can like book a musician who'll pull up curbside. The person who books you has to provide like an electrical power situation, and then you plug in your PA and you set up a stage right in front of your car or whatever open area that they have for you. So it's like, yeah, like curbside music, to go music, music delivered right to you. And I just signed up on that. And I think it's like such a cool idea, you know, especially if people have like a big front yard or a backyard, or even if I just sit on the hood of my car or whatever, just to be able to like share that music. It's called Curbside Concerts, and it is nationwide.
Nationwide.
I've actually heard that before, and that is so awesome. Like, in Italy, they were going out on their balconies and playing music to each other.
Yeah,
that is just
they would
so beautiful.
Together, the whole block would just be singing. And oh my God, you know that.
Yeah, kind of a gorgeous time to be alive in that way. Like we are all in this together. You know, in that way. Mm-hmm.
I think
no matter how much we don't want to be, it's the reality of things, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know,
gotta make the best of it, kids.
There's been some really shitty things that have happened with it, but yeah, like you said, like the connections that we're making with just being human with each other has been so intense and so moving. Like, I think there's a bigger piece of humanity that I didn't quite see. It was too abstract for me to see. And now, because we're all connecting as a world against something together, yeah, there's a lot more to the positive end of it. So my hope is that we all come out stronger, but we're definitely in ways where we wouldn't have before.
Right. It's like riding out the storm or whatever when you're on a boat, you know, and then the weather is just beautiful and you have the rest of the trip home to like enjoy your time on the water. But yeah, it's jarring, but you're right. I like your perspective on that.
Thanks.
Allison says, she says that example of the whole block singing and making music reminds me of Horton Hears a Who.
Oh,
and you know what? I totally get that.
Dr. Seuss.
Or maybe the Grinch, when everybody's like, after the Grinch steals all the Christmas presents and stuff, and the Who's come out and they're like, Yahoo, Yahoo.
Someone needs
That whole thing.
Dr. Seuss parody of what COVID did to the world. Like the
Yeah, it made us yahoos.
Metal Cat, I'm looking at you,
the
girl.
Lorax highlights like environmentalism. We should have like some kind of a little creature that highlights humanity through.
That's definitely the Lorax.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the Cat in the Hat is COVID. He just wrecks everything.
Oh my gosh.
Who let the cat in the hat in here?
Right?
Kendra, I was going to ask you.
Better get this house cleaned up before Mom gets home.
I know that a lot of things have shifted differently, but do you have any events that are scheduled later in the year that could possibly happen, or milestones or goals that you're trying to reach?
Oh, totally. So let's see. Okay, so coming up in August, I'm going to go to play some shows in Arizona. I have family in the Phoenix area, so I'm going to go stay with family as well as play some shows. I'm playing at the Bisbee Hotel in Arizona, as well as Pacino's Italian restaurant in Arizona. And they're really excited to have me, and I'm excited to be there too. That's at the end of August. And then in September, so I'll have a single coming out in August, at the end of August as well. I just got the lead guitar back. My friend Marcus Rusnak from Shred is Dead, as well as some other stuff, has done some amazing guitar work for my upcoming album. So the single will come out in August, full album in September. Then in October, at the end of October, no, in the middle of October, if everything remains peachy, I will be going to Denver to play some shows in Denver, as well as there's some good press that wants to do a show review as well while I'm there. So yeah, I've got some shows coming up, Arizona and Denver. Then I think I'm going to start my third book of poetry. That's going to be a combination of like lyrics, as well as poems I've written.
Ooh.
And probably the meaning behind the songs too. I was thinking of doing a sketch element actually, because when I did this book, I was super into photography in high school, so it was just like awesome because it added a visual element. I have like all this backlog of photography, but now most of my photos are like kind of cutesy, because they're like Instagrammable and like marketing for music. So I might do some photography elements, but I think I might do some drawing elements, whether I collaborate with an artist or whether I draw them myself. So get ready for a lot of stick figures. I'm just kidding. But maybe I'm kidding. I don't know. Or some really abstract art.
I love it.
And then I'll start soon on just like collaborating with other people. And then I've already written some of the songs for the fourth album as well. So.
Oh, that's so awesome. Oh my goodness.
Well, I know a great art teacher who has some lessons on YouTube.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. What's your YouTube channel?
Follow.
My YouTube channel is Mrs. Maxwell's Art Lessons.
Is it MISSES?
MRS?
Oh, duh. Oh my gosh.
S. Maxwell's Art Lessons. And you'll find me. I have pink hair in my profile picture because maybe it was the first month. I don't remember. Maybe it was the second month of quarantine. I went full pink, but it was washouts. I'm back to blonde and red under. But I'm going to go pink. Really fun to go pink for a little bit because we kind of rethink education. Like we shut down without a plan. And we were like, okay, so I started a YouTube channel and started teaching like drawing and painting to my students who were learning ceramics. So I'm a ceramics teacher, but you can't do clay remotely. So I just started doing some drawing and painting lessons, and I had a lot of fun because I'm a big Bob Ross fan. So it felt kind of like to be Bob Ross.
Yeah.
And it was something to keep me going. It was definitely something to keep the kids connected. And I got a lot of really good feedback from my students and the parents. There were whole families that would my lesson together. My mom, the kids that she babysits, she'll do the lessons with them. My husband, his other life is counseling. So to use some art therapy with some of his
Oh,
clients,
cool.
they'll
Yeah.
play videos and they'll work along with me. And it's pretty cool. So,
And you've helped me learn how to draw charcoal noses better.
Oh my gosh.
parts of the face. So eye, nose, mouth, and it popped up on her feed to draw the nose. It's so funny. She was like, I watched your whole video on how to draw a nose. I
Keep
prefer,
telling you, I need feet and hands. Feet and
yeah,
hands.
Oh
random,
my gosh.
but if I'm remote teaching again, knock on wood, I don't know, I'd rather be in person. But if for any
Yeah.
reason I'm remote again, I'll do feet, hands, full face, because we didn't put the whole face together either. We ran out of time because I wanted to do painting too, so I did some watercolor painting with students, and I prefer landscapes. So I did a charcoal mountain scene, and I did a watercolor mountain scene, so I could teach different techniques with both mediums.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fun. I mean, it was as fun as it could be without having kids there. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
challenging though, because some kids don't have internet or access to a computer. Our district would make sure that kids who had access to internet would at least get a laptop so that they could do the distance learning. But teachers were expected to make hard copies of all of our lessons too. So I would record my lesson, I
Mm-hmm.
would edit it, upload it onto YouTube, and
Mm-hmm.
go into my videos that I edited, and I would screenshot each step, copy, paste, put it over on a Word document, and write out the steps for kids who couldn't access anything online. So it was like so much more work to teach virtually than when you're in person and you're
Yeah.
just doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
it's good
god.
to keep the attention of the kids too.
Yeah. I had the upper hand because like I'm art, so kids generally
Yeah.
want to do art.
Yeah.
Um, not always, but for the most part, it's something that they can look forward to. It's something that they can set as something fun to do when they're done with their math and science and etc. Um,
Yeah.
so I had a lot of good response with what I was doing, but I do know that families had a hard time being able to homeschool their kids within
Yeah.
like right now, like just shut down and we're homeschooling. But it's not like homeschooling though either, because it's different in that way. It's crisis learning and teaching. It's not like
Yeah.
we have
Yeah.
a plan at all. So
What if there could be like a big, I'm just thinking if there could be like a bigger like open space, because classrooms are kind of closed in there. If there could be like a bigger space, like you guys teach in the gymnasium or something, like you come in shifts and like you've got like 2 classes in the gymnasium, or if you had like a field, like a soccer field, you could set up some easy up tents and do learning out there and just, come in shifts and do, you know.
you know there's a team of people through the district that are looking at those angles, and you're exactly right, like the gymnasium, the cafeteria,
Mhm.
areas where we could distance teach and learn in person, so that
Mhm.
we're safe. My classroom is pretty big, so I'll be able
Mhm.
to have I won't have the amount of kids that I normally have each time, but
Mhm.
I'll smaller numbers, but we'll be able to spread out enough because I have a huge classroom with a studio in the back. So
Mhm.
we'll be able to work it out somehow in that space, but not everybody has that space. Another hybrid method we're going to use is certain kids will start out week 1 of the month, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they'll shift
Uh-huh.
to week 2, Tuesday, Thursday, and then week 3 they're back on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule. So we get equal
Yeah.
hours to each kids, but they won't go to school every day. They'll be doing stuff online at home.
Yeah.
They'll go to school on certain days. It's just a hybrid method that we're looking at. But the other
Yeah.
day, I shouldn't say the other day, it was about 2 weeks ago. So we were still in session, and we were talking about what next year looks like. And the science teachers were actually kind of
Mhm.
weary, very weary for like, how it would look like. They don't think we're going to be in a hybrid at all. They think we're going to surge, shut down, be distance learning for a while, and then come back later. So I kind of keep my ear open to what the science field say about it, because they are more in the know with what's going on.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, I know that it's new to everybody, but for the most part, I would, think that they would have the upper hand on knowing what to expect.
Yeah, it's I've been thinking about the children a lot during this time frame. Like, emotionally, school was always just such a wonderful place to go. I loved learning. I loved school. Wasn't a huge super fan of track and field during PE, but otherwise I loved all of school as well, and like art classes and all that. And I've just been thinking, like, to have the kids be scared of anything. I wouldn't want kids to be scared of anything, but
yeah, that's what was so hard, is like having my own fears and suppressing them to be that strong person. Because like it was announced that we were going to shut down on a Friday, and then on Monday the kids came back for a half day and just got their packets that we put together for the 6 weeks that we were shut down. And then after 4 weeks they completely shut us down, like no going back, not even after 6 weeks, because we had 12 weeks left of school. So that meant that we were distance learning for the entire rest of the year. And I like kids coming up to me and they had that fear, and I stayed so strong. I was like, we are human. We have grit. We will get through this together. And had to overcome challenges. And this is just our time in history to live through. And we got this. And part of me really did believe that. But there was this little part of me that was like scared too. But I didn't want to show that, because I knew that that would scare them, and they need that strength. They need to know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. So. Well, to be able to like at least detach a little bit in a healthy way. When I was at home, me and my mom would watch the news and stuff, and I started to get like affected by it, because I was just like, what are we supposed to do? Like, I think this is what we should do. And then we'd talk about it. And then I'd be like, I think this is what we should do. And then we'd talk about it. And then finally I woke up one day and I was just like, Mom, I'm upset. I feel depressed. I feel like I'm overwhelmed by all this. And like social media is just become this avenue of, like, don't get me wrong, social media is great, but it's become an avenue of like opinion. And I respect everyone's opinion, but it was hard to wake up to every day and just be bombarded by it. And she was like, Kendra, you need to separate yourself from your emotions and not be swayed by that, because that makes you also like a product of what you're witnessing and what you're consuming and what you're seeing. And you're not a product of it. You're a conscious consumer of the information and the media, instead of just being affected by it. No, you can take that information and then have kind of like a wall between you and what it means to you.
Yeah. Oh, strong advice there. I love that.
Yeah.
Good sound advice. And
absolutely
advice, I like to ask every musician on the show what their advice is for other musicians, or for, the kids that are starting out in music.
Oh, I would say don't take no for an answer. Always take everyone who's saying no. It's always a yes, because there's a reason that it's being said towards you. I don't know if it is my, I've had to deal with self-doubt and insecurity in a lot of ways, and it's made me stronger. And it's definitely accounted for some really strong poetry and some really intense like monologues and songs that came out of it. But for those moments where I ran into naysayers and stuff, even if it was from a kind place in their heart, and they were friends or people I looked up to, it would always be like, this could also be a projection of something that I have unresolved and that I need to heal within myself. So I'd say, if you want to do it, do it. There's people every day writing music, making a way for themselves, and you're unique and special, and you can do the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd clap. I have to hold my breath.
I have mine.
I'll clap for myself.
I have mine sort of makeshift standing against one of my bags. Real eyes.
Allison says, that Confucius says, real eyes realize real lies.
Tupac said that too.
And
Yes.
Troy says, never give up. Yes, yes versus no, no. I agree 100%.
Totally.
Yes. Very
Yes.
good. Heck yeah. Super sound advice. Thank you. So where
So we
can
have
we
about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask Kendra if you could plug everywhere you are on social media so our
Yeah.
find you everywhere.
Excellent. So I'm going to get a pen so I can write out my website. I keep telling myself I'm going to have it written out so I can just like show it. Okay, so you can find my music. Thank you so much for having me on the show today, by the way. This has been really fun to like hang out and just like talk and chill and get to know y'all.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, we love getting to know like all of our other artists too, you know.
Yeah, we love hanging
That's what we do.
too.
So all of my music is on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon, Google Play, Bandcamp, iTunes. You can even start a Kendra and the Bunnies Pandora station. It's really nice. It's like easy listening Americana with kind of like a twangy, heartfelt, emotional edge to it. So I even like my Pandora station that's curated by the gods of the algorithms. As well as you can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at KenBunny, KenBunny. I'm very active on Instagram. I'm always posting cool stuff and like, marketing material, cute outfits. I even like to just like do inspirational stuff, as well as on Facebook. I'm Kendra and the Bunnies Music. You can just type that into the search bar. My website, I'm currently writing down right now. You can find my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, as well as on my website. And if you order one through my website, I'll hand sign it for you. So here's what to look up on Amazon. Kendra Mickey, Muecke.
Awesome.
As well as my website. I wrote it down. It's just like it's hard to spell. C Elizabeth has an S, so it's like Kendra Elizabeth, and then Mickey is spelled with a U-E. So that's where you can find all my info. I have all my press stuff on there, as well as my upcoming shows and everything about me. I like to get to know people, so like reach out and let's just talk, about things that matter.
Yeah, that's how it has felt tonight, like hanging out, talking about things that matter to us. And yeah, I absolutely loved hanging out with you, Kendra. You've been super fun.
Very empowering.
Yes. Let's go, girls.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Wow. I feel like a woman.
Some Shania there. Very good.
Yeah.
Another empowering woman there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks. This was fun. This was super fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else you want our viewers to know about you or upcoming events to look for?
Yeah, so I have that Indie Star Radio live stream happening on Monday, July 6th at, I think it's 7 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to live stream that directly from their Facebook page, and I'll probably just reshare it onto my own Facebook page too.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's at 7 p.m. Pacific time, Indie Star Radio. As well as I have a podcast that's debuting in July. I'm thinking I'm going to do July 17th as its debut, or maybe July 10th, actually. And the name of the podcast is The Politics of Kendra. We talk about like not politics, luckily, even though I do like talking about politics. But we talk about music, culture, spirituality. I bring on musicians, artists. It'd be fun to have y'all on the show too sometime.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's so
Yeah.
Ooh, we would definitely love to be on the show.
Yeah.
That would be rad for sure.
What platform for that?
So I've been recording them on Zoom. So I'm going to release the video version on YouTube and then pull the audio for Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, probably Spreaker too, I think might be included on that. But I'm going to go through Anchor FM and yeah, I think that, and then my upcoming album's coming out kind of soon. I'm super excited about it.
I am super excited for that too. That was September, you said, or August?
Yeah, September. August is going to be the single. And I'll be posting about it like mad crazy. So
well, you've
can't
been
miss it.
super fun to follow. I'm so glad that you're booking out to us. We got to connect with you, and I absolutely loved your cute rainbow outfit that you had. Because you were like, I do like outfits for Instagram, and I'm like, some of your that you've had. So very cute little hippie outfits.
Thanks. Yeah.
You know, like you're where
So
the weather.
Allison says that y'all are fantastic, and she appreciates us lovely beings. And Allison, we definitely appreciate you, and we appreciate you tuning into this. I can't do a whole thing. I don't know why I just did that again. I didn't even push it.
Oh wait, backwards land. Half heart.
I know. So now I gotta go like this.
Oh, I don't know why I'm. Yes, we did it.
There we go.
The wonders of nature.
Right.
Fantastic.
Well, that's all of the questions that we have for you, Miss Kendra. Thank you so much for promoting yourself. I look forward to connecting with you. Best of luck with all of your endeavors. And oh my gosh, like I said, I had such a fun time tonight. Thank you so much for being part of our show.
Thank you. Thanks,
yes,
lady.
it was very fun.
Thanks. See y'all soon.
All right.
Cool.
Well, thank you all for tuning in tonight on this lovely July 1st episode.
And tune in next week. We'll be back as always, right? Okay.
Yes, always. Indeed.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Good night. Thank you for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Kendra.
Thank you.